create, relate, erase the hate. Our memories, these things we make. Each stitch we take our time. We take each word, we make them rhyme. We on, we off, these flaws we fraud. 2 men dissolve to walk the dog. We tune, we zoom, the room, the loom, the birds, the boughs, the stars, the moon.
Hi Flosstube, welcome to Stitching It. My name is Stephanie and this is my YouTube channel about my hobby of cross stitch and needlework. So I'm glad you're here. And first I wanted to say I hope you guys are all staying safe and there's really no one that has been unaffected by the pandemic of COVID that is currently traveling across the world. And so I just wanted to remind you guys to stay at home and wash your hands and all those good things, but we are staying safe and pretty much isolated as much as we can in our home. My husband already worked from home, so a lot of things haven't really changed for us besides, of course, school has been canceled for a few weeks and we're on spring break right now, but the kids are getting a little antsy and it is difficult. It's difficult for everyone, so it's a good thing to have this outlet to reach out to people and to interact. So I'm glad that you're here, and since we've been staying at home, I've got a lot of stitching going on. Of course, I've been trying to focus on that, to take my mind really off all of the worries that we have. So my first finish actually is one I showed you in my March Madness plans video, and I did end up finishing it, so I'm going to show you guys. This is by the Kooler Design Studio and it's called God is Love, and this is actually the perfect spring little project. I'll get closer so I can show it to you guys better. But the colors are just, bright and cheery, and it was really, really fun to work on. It was easily divided into 2 pages, so I was able to work on the top half and then the bottom half. You can see that the whole thing is done with a black outline, which makes it really like stained glass, and it's really beautiful, of course. And this is supposed to be a gift for our Bible study teacher at church, but all of our activities have been canceled for a while. I don't know when I'll get a chance to give it to her, so I was glad that I was able to hold on to it for a little while. I love that I put it in this silver mirrored finish. I just wanted it to be reflective in nature, something to gaze upon and really, to focus on, especially during spring. I think it's going to be, I really want to get it to her. If things, don't happen soon and start opening up, I think I might just drop it off at some point and give it to her, and just, I won't get to see her face or see anybody else when I give it to her, but I do want her to have it. So that is something I'm definitely proud of. I love that I kept the threads together just in case I feel like stitching it again someday. So I was happy to finish that one up. Now my other one that I was really hoping to finish up was the Greyhound, which I've been showing you guys. I mean, it's on like every video that I do, but I really am trying to finish it up. And but the closer I get to the finish, the more and more I just pick and get slower and slower. So I've counted it up and I think I'm within 500 to 700 stitches of finishing in the corner down here, and I don't know when that's going to happen. That's why I'm showing you guys. I texted with my aunt the other day, who this is a gift for, and she was hoping to come down in the summer now, so that's really when I'm trying to have it done, by the next time I see her, in the summer sometime. So I'm not really I'm not really stressing out about it right now. I've switched up to other stuff. but I did want to show you and update you guys where I got. My other whips from March Madness I did get a chance to work on, but it wasn't really enough progress to really show you guys. But a couple weeks ago I was having, you know, I guess with the onset of everything going on, and I had a high stress level, I was stitching on Aida, and I was stitching on Aida, and that's what I was working on, and I couldn't get to the point where I could bring myself to really work on linen, especially the higher counts like I wanted to. So, let's see. So somehow I started stitching 1/1, and that kind of broke my cycle. You know, I had gotten a new magnifying glass for the bedside, and that really, I wasn't afraid of stitching 1/1 or something very, very small, because I had the magnifying glass whenever I could see it. So anyway, let's see, now this is, I do remember how I started this project. I've been resisting the Linens and Threads mystery sampler all year long. In fact, I've worked on another Quaker piece in a similar tone of what I wanted, you know, just to distract myself and to avoid starting it. And finally, I found this thread in a Valentine box, and I loved the thread so much that I had to start a project with it. This is the thread that came with the Valentine's Day Stitchy box, and it's by Cottage Garden Threads. I'm going to show you guys. It's by Cottage Garden Threads, and it's a color called Albert. I've got another one right here. And it is the most beautiful. If you like unicorns and pink and purple and, you know, stuff like that, let me see if I can get it to focus. Okay. It is the prettiest, most romantic color I've seen in a long time. This one's not unwound yet, but I saw this thread. I got one card of it, and then I bought a few more so that I could get through the rest of this project. And so I started the Linens and Threads mystery sampler. You know, that thread that I bought, that Albert, the Cottage Garden Threads, it's not cheap at all. So I decided that I had to do it 1/1 so that I could only get by with 3 skeins, because each of those, the 3 skeins that I could find online, were between $6 and $7 a piece. So 1/1 it is. So I wanted to show you, I'm finished with March now, and April has just come out, and it's one huge motif. I mean, it takes up like half the page. So I'll show you what I've got so far. Like I said, it's 1/1, and let me see if I can, yeah, that's January and February, and March is at the bottom, and April's going to be right here and take up this whole thing right here. It's going to be big. I haven't started it yet, obviously, but it's gorgeous. I haven't decided what color I'm going to do the initials that are in it, but this is a free, like I said, a sal that's a part of the Linens and Threads. You know, if you go to linensandthreads.com, that's where it is, and they release it every single month. And they have a group on Facebook, which I'll link below, and it is such a fun group to be a member of. Even if you aren't even stitching on this year's project, they have so many different people posting the progress of the same, you know, project, that you get to see all these color combinations. It's great for spectating, even if you aren't going to stitch on it. But that set off a whole thing for me. I was really into 1/1 stitching. So let's see, now I started another project on 1/1, and I wanted to show that to you guys. That was on even weave, right? So I wanted to try, that was on 28 count even weave, so I wanted to try 1/1 stitching on 28 count linen of a sampler. And this is a sampler from that I found on Etsy, and this is really, oh, that's so cute. this is a very big sampler. It's like 200 stitches across. And it's got all roses and red roses. I'm doing it in 115, DMC 115. And I'll show you a picture of what the finished sampler is supposed to look like. But the 1/1, I'm going to get as close as I can. See if it will focus. Let's see. Yeah. That's going to be so pretty. Like I said, you know, I've been doing it with a magnifying glass. And I really like the way those tiny X's look on 28 count. They look almost perfect, really, on 28 count. Now, I saw Gable's Stitcher, and she was choosing a piece to work on throughout the epidemic to put, or pandemic, a length of floss in every day so that she could count the stitches, count the days, you know, and I thought that was a really good idea. And I had this other project that was already 1/1. It's on 32 count linen, but, you know, it's all text. So I decided this would be a good one to do that. So I've been stitching on this every day for close to a week. And that is Hope by Heartstring Samplery. I'm going to stand up again and show you guys where I'm at on this one. And this is a quote from the Bible. So it's pretty straightforward. It's 2 Corinthians, and the whole thing is, you know, I think over the past week I've done more than a complete line of text. So, still working on that. Now I'm going to try to see how close I can get on this. Let me see if I can see those X's, because like I said, this is on 32 count linen, and I like the 28 count linen better, I think, you know, but since it's just regular text over and over again, the 32 count is not that bad. This is on Color and Cotton fabric. It's a limited edition from a Christmas box. And let's see. Yeah. And I'm doing it with like DMC 40, what is it? 4,000 something. It's one of their color variations. 4,000, I don't know. Anyway, that's going well, and I plan to finish that one out if I can stick to it. You know, I really am not good at sticking to these plans, but I like, now, since I was stitching 1/1, that really got me back into small counts, and I found that I could do it again. You know what I mean? So that necessitated another start for the quarantine, and really, you know, what I haven't talked about, and I agonized talking about it, is Nashville Needlework Market, okay, which is something I really didn't participate in this year. I looked, there are a few projects that I really like the look of and I'd like to get, but I didn't go shopping, I didn't get a haul, I didn't do any of that. You know, this whole pandemic thing has kind of had me on edge, and really I'm worried about that I'm not going to get to stitch all the stash I have. So I'm just trying to stay focused on my projects that I have. But I could not resist a new Lindy Stitches start because I love all her stuff, especially her big samplers. And so her Nashville Needlework Market release this year was, or one of them, was Mary Mary Needleworker. And that is, I'll show a picture of that one. And that one has 2 colorways suggested, a day version and a night version. Now I already had Bramble, which is what the called for fabric for the day version is, and so I even though I liked them both, I decided to try to base my stitching on the day version. So I've got to start going on that. I think the called for fabric is 32 count, but I have 40 count, which is fun because I don't have a modern sampler, you know, on 40 count fabric. So I'll show you my start on that. Now this is going to be very interesting because of that skirt is a solid block of stitching. I used Pattern Keeper to find out how many stitches were in the skirt, the body of the skirt, and it's over 8,200 stitches. So that in itself, the skirt as a finish in itself is harder, you know, it's only 2 colors, but, you know, anyway, it's such a cute piece and it's coming out so adorable on 40 count. So that's what I have so far. I'll try to get another close-up of that. Like I said, it's coming out really cute. So we've got a lot of small count stitching going on. You know, most of that is just because I've been at home so much, so I've been able to sit here and use my wonderful magnifier glass. That really helps. It really does. It makes it comfortable, and then, you know, in conjunction with that, I have my handy dandy Stitch Smart stand to set it on. So that's really what's been enabling me to do the 1/1 stitching and, you know, back into 40 count. But before I put that away, I wanted to show you the threads I'm using for that. I'm just picking my own threads from Stash. The color for the main part of her skirt is a Threadworks color. I think I'm gonna have to buy another skein of that. I'm not sure. And then I'm doing the words with Tin Bucket. And then I've got this is a silk that I'm pulling, and I'm first I thought it was going to be a little too pink, but that's that silk right there. It is actually coming out a nice faded vintage red, so I'm liking that one a lot. So those are the threads for that, and this wasn't supposed to be a really long update. I'm surprised that the house has been this quiet for as long as it has. So I'm gonna get going, and I'm hoping to come back to you guys a little bit sooner. I've got a Flosstube anniversary coming up, and I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna do for that yet, but I would like to celebrate, or at least change up some things about the channel, you know, in kind of preparation for a new season and a new world. You know, we're all living in this new strange world, and, you know, where there's a lot of things that are different, you know, when it comes to social distancing and stuff like that. But you always don't have to worry about that on YouTube, of course, which I've really been enjoying. So anyway, that's all I wanted to show you guys today. So I'm glad you stopped by, and I'll talk to you guys soon.